Welcome to the Barry Charles Footy Show, your one-stop shop for everything rugby league. Let's get to it. Yes, the finals are here, and let's have a look at the two games, Friday and the first game on Saturday. Brisbane Broncos versus the Melbourne Storm. The hoodoo is real. Melbourne 14 in a row. Can they keep it rolling, or can the Broncos find a way to break the hoodoo? Yes. Well, all the talk has been, a lot I've heard about it, that everyone's picking the Storm now because of the hoodoo and all that. Well, the Broncos have got something to say about it. Let's get to it. The Brisbane Broncos, and then after that we'll talk about the New Zealand Warriors versus Penrith Panthers. Let's get to it. So yes, the Broncos shape up. We've got Reece Walsh taking on Nick Meaney. So if you're looking at these two, Nick Meaney has been very solid player, but has he got the Reece Walsh X factor? The answer is no. So will we see Ryan Papenhuyzen come in 30 minutes and go to fullback? Now, he's been playing in the ruck a lot. Well, a couple of weeks ago, is that where he's going to play? Or do you put him at fullback and you switch around and put Nick Meaney on the centre and wing? Is that how you do it? Because Papenhuyzen absolutely is the X factor that the Storm need to win this game. And I'm surprised he's not starting, but hey, he might not quite be fit enough, which is another question as well, to play fullback, which is a very demanding position to play. But yes, to me, Reece Walsh has, and once the Broncos get the tick there. Now, if we're looking at the back line, well, you got young Tomo Apia, Will Warbrick. We've got quite a few young ones, and obviously Xavier Coates on the other side, taking on the might of Katoni Staggs, Selwyn Cobo, Jesse Arthurs, and Herbie Farnworth. And that's leaving out Corey Oates. Yes, will that come back to bite the Broncos? No, Corey Oates in this game. Experienced player, over 200 games. But then he will be holding all those games for the hoodoo. Maybe that's why they got rid of him for this game. But Jesse Arthurs has been playing good football, and he played good football for the Warriors, as I said. So in terms of this matchup here, well, obviously Xavier Coates is a key player. He can either be, he's a little rocks and diamonds. He reminds me a bit of Manu at times. He can be absolutely brilliant, but then he can have a few shockers. So, yeah, Xavier Coates needs a big game if the Storm are going to win, because a lot of tries will be kicked to their corner if he's a chance to. But on the other side, the Broncos with Adam Reynolds, to me, it's the plays out the back of Reece Walsh, I think. If they get their silky smooth time and give Tony Staggs and Herbie Farnworth time to run, that's when the Melbourne Storm with their defence. This is where the Melbourne Storm are good at it. They come rushing in, boom. But there's no Justin Olam on the other side. No Justin Olam, Remus Smith, both not in the team. Obviously, it's been a while, so they obviously are saying no, they're not good enough. But I'm surprised he's not back for the big games here. Obviously, there's something going wrong with him at training or something while he's not in the team. But yes, to me, I think it's all over red. Or over on the Broncos side here. I think Broncos have just got strike weapons all over the field here on the back line. Xavier Coates is the Knights, the big hope for the Storm. But yeah, we'll see. Let's have a look at 6 and 7. Yep, if we look at 6 and 7, well, on one side you got Adam Reynolds and Ezra Mam versus Cameron Munster and Jerome Hughes. This is a big one. Cameron Munster has had a very, very quiet season. I think he started the season off all right, but he's been very quiet for a while. Can he go to another level and demonstrate why he is one of the best in the game? He's been quiet, and he's due to have a big game, and it's going to be this weekend. With Jerome Hughes, his silky running skills. So it's going to be an interesting battle there. Obviously, Adam Reynolds is the architect of the Broncos, and he'll be kicking to the corners and do all that sort of stuff. But Ezra Mam, this is the time where we're going to find out how good he is, because this is the precious stages of the finals. If he can continue his form, the Broncos are on their way to a preliminary final. He's one of the key factors I think people are forgetting about in this game. They're all talking about Reynolds and Reece Walsh, of course. But Ezra Mam, if he has a shocker, Adam Reynolds is under more pressure. And then if they put Adam Reynolds under pressure, the game implodes for the Broncos. So Ezra Mam has to take some pressure off Adam Reynolds with his running game and continue to play the way he's been playing. Let's have a look at the props. The forward pack, well, It's a mismatch if you ask me. Payne Haas, Patrick Carrigan. I'm just naming just some of the key players. Tom Flegler. There's so many to go from here. They're the three key men for the Broncos. When you're on the other side, you've got Katoa, Nelson Offamasala off the bench, Christian Welsh. These are the key players in each team. Katoa, silky skills, but like Stephen Menzies back in the day, just that nice hole runner, gets the gaps and away he goes. Can come off an offload as well. But yeah, the brute force of Payne Haas and Patrick Carrigan, one after the other. Tom Flegler as well. This is where the momentum can be won. And this is where the Broncos, if they're going to win this game, it'll be won there in the forwards. Because if they forwards dominate the Storm, this game is all over. But if the Storm can maintain the Broncos, then I flip the script and say the Storm win. Because the Storm be able to grind out a game. But Broncos could blow this game open early. And if they do that, then the Storm are... And this is a bit of a... Yeah, Storm, if it gets into a grind, you'll say the Storm win. If it goes to a blowout, you expect the Broncos to blow them away. And to be honest, I think the Broncos are ready to blow them away. Yes, Marty Tapau not getting picked either, but he's done a few mistakes in the past, so maybe he's not worth a shot. But to me, in all honesty, I think the Broncos are going to get this done and get it done well by 12. I know the hoodoo is there. And the hoodoo could come back to bite them, but I think the Broncos are ready to rip roar and explode into the finals. So I'm going to the Broncos by 12. Because I'm not convinced the Storm have been going there great all season. They might end up third, but to me, Broncos and Penrith look miles ahead of the game. And the third best team, in my opinion, are the Warriors, who are trying to pull off the upset. And that's what we're going to talk about now, the Warriors. Yes, can the Warriors pull off the upset of the century and knock off Penrith? It's been done before in week 1 in the finals. Didn't have to go too long ago for that to happen. Penrith losing the first week of the finals. It can be done. But how's it going to be done? Shaun Johnson to the rescue, yes. Not just Shaun Johnson for sure, but Shaun Johnson is absolutely dynamite. If he plays the way he's been playing all season, he will outplay Cleary. If he can do that, they are a big chance. But they need Fanua Blake and Tohu Harris maybe on one leg at the moment. Those two players have to deliver. And all the other guys, like the near Corys, Dylan Edwards, Jazz Tavanga, Jackson Ford, all these players just have to keep their momentum going. That is the worry with the Warriors here. Fanua Blake just play the whole game. Because they need, and Tohu Harris, same deal. They obviously get breaks, but they need to play most of the game because they need their front. Up front, they need their grunt. And they've left out Bunty Afoa, who hasn't been informed, to be honest, and Tommy Ale. But are they missing one prop? That's the question mark you have on the Warriors side here. If they are going to fail, is when those fellas go off for Noah Blake and Tohu Harris. If they go off for any extended period, that's where the danger sides and that's where the points could leak. So those two probably have to stay on the field for most of the game. And this one, I think, for the Warriors to have a big chance of upsetting the card. Obviously, the Warriors, Rocco Berry and Adam Pompey and even Marcelo Montoya and even the Selesniak defensive-wise, they've been better this year out wide, but it's still that little bit of indecision against these top teams is going to be big. And DWZ has been carved up a few times and on the wing, letting in tries, so that's a little bit of a worry on that side of the field. But scoring-wise, no problem with the players scoring tries. It's just defensively, can they do it against the best team in the comp? That's going to be the question mark. Because Penrith are not going to beat themselves. So you got Dylan Edwards, he's Mr. Consistent. Nathan Cleary's Mr. Consistent. Jack Cogger is pretty much turned into consistency. Mitch Kenny is consistent. James Fisher-Harris, Moses Leota, Liam Martin. The list just goes on and on and on. These players just continue to play week in, week out good footy. Most of them play just week out, week out. And that's not including the X factor of Crichton. You got Toho and Taru with the running game. Well, all the sign is Penrith win by 24. Really? It could be an absolute blowout, the Penrith Panthers here, and they'll absolutely carve up the Warriors. That is definitely a possibility. It's up to the Warriors to steal in defence. They are taking on a big team that knows how to be in the grand finals. Warriors are less than experienced, but the Warriors have the siege mentality against Ivan Cleary and show the world that this team is the team to beat. The Warriors To me, it's all about the middle. If they can somehow beat Leota, James Fisher-Harris, Scott Sorensen, all these players, if they can win the middle of the field, they can win the game because Shaun Johnson can kick them into submission. And that's going to be the key, Shaun Johnson as well. This kicking game is going to be vital for the Warriors if they're going to get up in this game. But yes, to me, I have to stick with the Warriors. Got to go to the Warriors. I'll go for them by 6 points, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos, Panthers blow them away as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Te Martin goes. He's going to have a big game. He was shaky first up, and whether his fitness is there. But I suppose they have Dylan Walker and Jazz Tavaga at the pitch. They can play number 6 if he is struggling. They can just put Dylan Walker into 6 if they need to. So they've got a few options there. And Wade Egan is another key for the Warriors. We don't want him to go down with HIA or anything. He is the key. Otherwise, they've been playing Surin in there, but I would have put Dylan Walker in 9. But anyway, or these Jazz as well. But they got options either for hooker as well. But Wade Egan needs to have a big game to allow Shaun Johnson to play his play out the way. So the forwards do their job. Wade Egan does the passing out to Shaun Johnson. Look out, the Warriors could pull off the upset of the round. It's going to be a big game there at Bluebet, and we will see you at the game if you're at the game. Yep, we'll be off to the Warriors game watching the Warriors hopefully pull up the upset and beat Penrith. Anyway, it's Barry Charles Footy Show for this episode. Have a great day out there.